This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the government has agreed to extend certain concessions under the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement following the conclusion of months of back and forth dialogue between government and the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement Review Committee. Now, the nation's leader disclosed the results of what he says were complex negotiations while in Parliament today and is forecasting growth and renewed vitality for Grand Bahama. Cleopatra Murphy has the details.
After months of negotiation on expired provisions related to tax and business license fees under the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, government has agreed to extend those concessions another 20 years to existing licensees on an individual basis and subject to certain conditions. Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie made the announcement in the House of Assembly Monday and says it will operate under a framework that would provide for the maintaining of performance through 5-year reviews. The framework would also apply to new licensees upon approval.
We are also taking steps to address an important inhibitor to development in Grand Bahama. The lack of any taxes or carrying costs of undeveloped land means that property holders can simply sit on undeveloped land without recourse. To address this situation and enhance the revenue base in Freeport, we intend to create a new framework where real property tax would be payable on undeveloped land held by non-Bahamians owning more than 5 acres.
Prime Minister Christie says growing Freeport's economy in line with the original vision of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement will require large sums of new capital and top-level management. He says government has signed a new Memorandum of Understanding with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and its various entities, along with a waiver of exclusivity agreement with Freeport Harbour Company Limited that will shift the investment climate and economic prospects for Grand Bahama in a dynamic way. The Prime Minister says the MOU will transform the island's governance structure and increase transparency of GBPA operations.
The Memorandum of Understanding provides a mechanism for the government to play a meaningful role in steering and overseeing critical infrastructure and development via seats on the boards of the Grand Bahama Port Authority and land development companies. It also provides the licensees the opportunity to participate in the governance by nominating a member to the Grand Bahama Port Authority board. We have also come to an agreement in principle to align the regulatory functions of the Grand Bahama Port Authority with the national regulatory framework and policies of the Bahamas government, and to establish a process for licensee appeals.
The MOU also allows government to acquire minority shares in landholding companies like the Grand Bahama Development Company. With the GBPA, government will also create the Grand Bahama Development Fund.
We will seed the conversations on the creation of this fund with a series of helpful recommendations from the review committee, including reopening important portions of West Sunrise Highway, upgrading airport facilities, making available residential lots to expand affordable housing, construction of modern medical facilities.
The Prime Minister says the island's growth can no longer be stalled by internal shareholder disputes, and the new MOU creates a clear way forward that will establish a path for growth that has eluded Grand Bahama for years. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Now, this decision coming after some 15 months of work by the Special Hawkesbury Creek Agreement Review Committee. Those involved in the exercise say they remain committed to seeing the island of Grand Bahama return to its glory days.
Those mandated by the government to review the expired portions of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement have completed their task. Chairman of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement Review Committee, Dr. Marcus Bethel, says the committee was honored to have been appointed by the government and to serve this country in that capacity. He says they remain cognizant about the role they have and hopefully will continue to play in ensuring the revitalization of this island's economy.
We stand ready to continue to work towards building our nation. We all love the Bahamas dearly. and everybody committed themselves to making that known in the recommendations and, of course, in the work that they did. And we are ready to continue, when called on, the work that is deemed necessary to build our nation to the status that it ought to be and is quite capable of being. And of course to state, as has been indicated by the Minister, that within the Bahamas there are many, many, many individuals who are capable of making contributions. We just need to set aside the partisan politics and work together, as my committee has done, to produce results that are meaningful, transformative, and everlasting, and hopefully a sustainable revitalization of our economy.
Former Member of Parliament and Bahamian Ambassador Maurice Moore has had a frontline seat when it comes to the evolution of the Bahamas, more specifically Grand Bahama. He stated that the magnitude of what is about to be decided by the government will impact the lives of generations unborn.
The work of this committee, as I said to the Prime Minister in our private session, needs to be an ongoing work, because it's going to take a little while before the powers that be in Freeport get to understand that our intention is to bring Freeport and Grand Bahama into the new world where international best business practice must be established and must be put to work in order to get Freeport going the way we'd like it to go. And having the committee to monitor until such thing can be felt by our people and by the business community throughout the world.
Joan Davis-Rowe, ZNS Network News.
In news from the crime beat, 22-year-old Raheem Gibson of Pintail Street on West Settlers Way was hauled before the court today on the charge of murder. Gibson appeared before Magistrate Charlton Smith and was not required to enter a plea. The matter was adjourned to July 25, 2016 for a preliminary inquiry. Gibson is accused of the stabbing death of 43-year-old Pedro McKenzie around Sergeant Major Road last Tuesday. Police reports indicate that the incident occurred when a friendly game of dice turned deadly. Gibson has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. And 3 American males arrested for the possession of firearm and ammunition. On Saturday afternoon, Defense Force officers on board HMBS Cascarilla while in the Cat Key area stopped and searched a 40-foot vessel and reportedly discovered 2 9mm pistols along with 56 rounds of ammunition on board. After having failed to declare to Bahamas Customs, the 3 American males were taken into custody along with the vessel and later handed over to officers in Bimini. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.